Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today there are three very important things to cover. The Solana, eruption or potential dump that could be happening very soon because of massive unstaking. The inflation numbers that are going to get revealed in about an hour and a half, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have obviously the FTX situation. But since I don't want to waste anybody's time, I'm going to go through it with a little bit of a rapid pace. So to talk about the inflation numbers first, here you can see 1:30 p.m. GMT. The inflation data from the US is going to be announced. You can see the previous number was 8.2. The consensus is 8. The forecast, which is the most important, is 8.1. And it's going to be announced today on the 10th of November. It's most likely going to be a descending line. However, the dollar right now, it says right here, the dollar climbs ahead of inflation data, cryptos crumble. I'm not sure if the whole crypto price situation right now has so much to do with these inflation numbers or mostly with FTX. I'm personally assuming that 95% of the price action has to do with FTX, has to do with the fear of everything basically crashing in the near future. There's a lot of fear regarding the USDT and everything. Well, all I can say about this situation is, well, we got the inflation numbers coming out. There's a lot of fear regarding Tether. You can see it's under a little bit of pressure, but I honestly am not seeing it falter as much as I would have expected it to falter when things are this much hitting the fan. And as I stated, I personally think the inflation number is not the biggest determining factor for the crypto prices right now, albeit that normally this is a very big deal. Logically, guys, the higher the inflation is, the worse things look. The lower, the better. And so if the forecast is 8.1, that's basically already priced in. If it's higher than 8.1, that's most likely going to cause things to not do as well. If it's lower than 8.1, usually the market reacts positively. It's quite, I'd say, a logical phenomena. If everybody's expecting something to happen and it's worse, or then things are worse than expected, so things go down in terms of price. And if it's better than expected, things do better than it was doing. I don't know, maybe I'm just a genius for understanding this, and you guys as well. In terms of the crypto prices, like I said, things are going downhill pretty fast. When I checked this morning, XRP was up 8% or so. Things were doing good. Right now, over the last hour, it's up 1%. However, as the day, progresses, we're going to see prices tumble in terms of percentages. Because even though it's not actually falling anymore, it just depends on what time exactly you are looking at. For example, if you were looking just a teeny tiny weeny bit earlier, then it looked, for example, from the 9th of November to somewhere here the 10th, wow, the XRP price is up a crazy amount. But then the further you go, the less good that looks, basically. And that brings me to the point. We've got some very interesting news on Solana. Right now, the Solana price is up 4% in the last hour. That's actually doing pretty good. But then again, it's down 30% or so over the last 24 hours. And I'm actually thinking it's down more than 50% in the last 2 days. To quickly gauge it, it went from about $36 or so to roughly $12. So it roughly 1/3 in value over a couple of days. And over on my Twitter, which, by the way, Twitter is changing for the crazier because of all these verified things. You can see Solana is trending with 200,000 tweets going on right now. And I've been tweeting a lot. Hey, this is the club here over in London. Things were pretty good. I'm liking also a lot of these CZ, FTX type of comments. But if we take a little bit of a second, I'll find a tweet where it showcases just how much Solana is being taken out of the staking contract, and that could all be dumped rather soon, I think a couple more hours. Yeah, so there are basically two places we can check. Right here, there's a couple of articles stating that over $900 million worth of Solana is going to be unlocked in a couple of hours from now, about 3 hours from now, if I am not mistaken. But if we actually take a look at the validator, information over on SolanaCompass.com, we can see that as of this point, the stake growth looks to be doing good. Everything looks kind of nice. Total staked 400 million, which is about $5 billion right there. Things are, looking pretty good. At least that's what you say. But then taking a look, new and lost stakes so far this little epoch, this little time frame right here. It's interesting to me to see how much was unstaked right there already a couple of epochs ago, and then how much was added. I'm not sure exactly what happened right there. But right now we have a similar decline with the deactivating stake right now being 450,000, but the net change, wow. Yeah, you're correct. That's not that much, right? I guess I'm just hyping it up for nothing. Everything has already happened then, I guess, because this is honestly not that crazy of a number. I'm thinking for a second this could have been millions, right? Because you can see here 300 million is in there, and the people were afraid, basically, of, if we go back to the article, 50.8 million Solana being unstaked, which I guess is what happened in this whole situation. But to be honest, is there any glitch or so? Because this is showing, let me count. Yeah, this is showing a number of 30 million in terms of deactivated stake. And here's lost new stake, previous 20 epochs. This is number 370. And this is, let's quickly check it out. Yeah, just to be sure, 370. So I guess things changed throughout the day where there was a lot more activating stakes yet again. Again, unfortunately, we can't see the results from yesterday, but obviously that's why the crypto price for Solana was obviously not doing that good. It doesn't reflect it for some reason right here in the stake growth over time. Maybe I'm actually missing something about how exactly that works. That is certainly possible as well. I'm not going to claim to be a Solana professional in all this, right? And Solana is not something that I stake actively on a platform that's not an exchange, basically, because I think Solana, for me, is not a main hold, and then for that reason, I'm just staking it in the simplest way possible. But there is something to be said about actually, let me get back to the camera right there. There's actually something to be said about interacting with these contracts, basically, and for example, staking your Solana natively. The reason I'm saying that is because then you have to learn exactly how Solana works to be able to stake it. The only reason I don't want to do that is because I don't care enough for it. Maybe it's going to be 1% extra or so of a return that I get, but I'm not really doing it. I'm just like, well, Solana's in my wallet. Let me lend it out on the exchange that it's on. But that's also because it's not any staggering amount of Solana, and yeah, I'm kind of too lazy to figure it out, I guess, for that little 1%. I should, but let's just see Solana survive this first, and then I'll go into the whole transitioning period. There's also another attachment, which is I don't know what the lockup periods are on the official websites. That's just because I've not done my due diligence. However, let us talk about situation number 3, which is the entire FTX debacle. I want to give you guys a quick little summary, all right? Quick little summary, and then we'll just quickly conclude why things are doing bad and why things are not so good for right now. However, I will discuss more about the regulatory nascent stuff, like things that are going to happen after this, nascence, whatever, like repercussions, in the XRP video that I'm making later today, because there's some really interesting repercussions for that case and things akin. Just to quickly understand, Alameda Research and FTX. FTX both and Alameda Research both basically headed by Sam Bankman-Fried. Well, there's a couple different conspiracies going on at the same time. Some of them turned out to be true, and I actually met up with BitBoy yesterday, and I had to give him a little handshake and tell him he was right for calling out Sam Bankman-Fried for being a little bit of a his specific words, and I'm paraphrasing, was he's a devil. I'd say he's indeed a little bit sneakier than we anticipated. So he basically had two main companies, FTX and Alameda Research. Alameda Research, a big venture firm investing a lot of things. FTX, doing pretty good, we thought, crypto exchange. Now, there was a little bit of trouble, right? That's mostly because of Sam Bankman-Fried's political actions. There was a lot of doubt from CZ's side, and he's basically ranting the freaking living hell out of SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried. So what happened was there came a little bit of a bank run over at FTX, and because FTX has been given so much money to fund their other part, Alameda Research, this is again supposedly, they didn't have enough money to pay back investors, so they had to halt withdrawals. Now, ever since that happened, they came into a really, really big clunge because then a lot of fear starts to monger over, and just before that, obviously, there was a crazy bank run. Again, I'm just making it as summarized as possible. And so Binance said, hey, we're going to buy it to help them out because Sam Bankman-Fried reached out to them. However, not 24 hours later, the deal actually raised some questions. And after their research, they said, well, yeah, we can't actually buy it. There's a couple of things in the midst. For example, how, sorry for showing you guys this picture time and time again, about how they manipulated cryptos basically through borrowing, which again had to do with their Alameda and the fact that they basically borrowed against themselves or against their own. So if the crypto fell, kind of like the whole Luna UST situation, they kind of messed up. But right now, again, as I said, the SEC is investigating them. There's a lot of different troubles on a lot of different lengths. But mostly comes because Binance is not actually going to acquire them, which is against the thought that the majority of us had. I could have almost sworn that I thought they were actually going to go through at least for a couple more days. But within 24 hours, they said, well, we take a look at the FTX books and we can't fix this. It's absolutely wild. Some people say there's a $4 billion deficit because of Alameda, as we just said. Some others are saying that the issues are way deeper and that FTX was really a shit show from the get-go. The consequences are a lot more dire because if you think about it, there's a lot of these different companies, potentially like Voyager, for example, that had cryptocurrency left from its major crash. Where the judge decided, okay, let's keep that stored on a certain crypto exchange, potentially FTX. And there's a couple of platforms, I don't know exactly the name of them anymore, that I read earlier, that had, for example, I think specifically 18 or 19 million dollars on FTX to pay back their to their clients, I guess, that now is also kind of stuck in the matrix. But it's also kind of the fun part about crypto, even though this is not really funny in terms of price action or anything. I guess it's kind of fun to see how one little comment from CZ, the CEO of Binance, just goes on, it puts everything in such a turmoil. You know, it's pretty crazy. It is kind of what happened, right? He said one little thing about, hey, we're getting rid of our FTT, and that basically just made a whole shitstorm of things. You might say that he knew up front that this was going to happen, which is why he did say this. Don't have the insights to dispute that or agree with that. All I know is the situation is quite dire. Crypto's not looking too good. Obviously, Bitcoin dumped to 15 point something thousand dollars, which is also wild to see. Luckily, we did have a couple of shorts. I've been sharing it over in my Telegram group because, well, it's been too crazy, all right? If you want to trade yourself, check out some links down below. I got, for example, BitGet, got, for example, Bybit. I think the three exchanges that I'm most excited about are linked down below. Just check the links down below because you'll get a couple of bonuses. BitGet, Bybit, and Binance. Stay with the buys, all right? Stay with the Bs and whatever. Most likely going to be good. Yeah, but I guess the thing with exchanges is as well, as long as they provide proof of funds, they're generally good. But even then, I guess the most important takeaway from all this is not your keys, not your coins. Don't hold your main stashes on exchanges, even though I sometimes do it because I'm too lazy. You can see what happens, right? One guy texted me just yesterday saying, man, I withdrew $1 million from FTX about 20 hours or 16 hours or whatever before they halted withdrawals. A lot of people are in that same situation. Nice red chair, right? Where they either did not just withdraw their money from FTX. You know now, don't leave it on there if you're going to be hurt, like to the brink, if they were to go down, if you guys understand my drift. That's all I got to say about that. Don't leave too much on exchanges because something might happen. I'm getting frisky up in here. And you never know. You never know. That's it. There's also a link down below to Ledger if you want that, but just go to ledger.com or use the link down below. Whatever you want to do, get yourself a hardware wallet. It's where to store your crypto safely. And then I'll see you guys again in another crypto video in a couple of hours talking about XRP because, well, there's some interesting things going on.